Hey everybody, Brian Von Vier here, back at it again. This time we're talking about the best, most creative, non-stereotypical character build that you've either seen or that you've created yourself. If you'd like to submit one for a future video, please do so in the comments below. I'll go first. A traveling bard who only writes jingles to promote businesses. Obviously, they play a xylophone. Their flaw? Well, they're not horny. Instead, they have an annoying door-to-door salesman personality. I made a white hat rogue. He was a member of the City Watch that would go undercover and infiltrate crime syndicate and thieves' guilds. He would then gather evidence and then turn it over to the authorities. My roommate in the same campaign played a bard who was a former drill instructor, so bardic inspiration was him shouting military orders and the like. Silvery Barbs was a stream of foul language that was both vile and hilarious. We were both in the military, so we had some of ourselves in those characters. Rogue, who swore to spare as many lives as possible, prefers to use misdirection and deception to divert enemies elsewhere, as opposed to having killed them in combat. His goal is to limit any bloodshed to the big bad evil guy, or those who fully agree with the big bad evil guy. All of those rank and file guards and conscript soldiers. They're just men who would rather return home to their families than actually fight for a cause they don't fully believe in. Basically the opposite of a murder hobo. A bartender dwarf who was a way of the drunken master monk with bar fighter feet. His weapon was a frying pan with mace stats. His tavern was destroyed during a bar fight when a wild magic sorcerer casted a spell resulting in a fireball. So now he adventures in order to rebuild his tavern. Of course, most imagine dwarves with armor and a hand axe. Here, he is in normal clothes and fights with a frying pan. He has no formal training, his fighting style came from bar fights. I love it as a dwarf player myself, and it just makes me really warm inside. I made a warforged bard, but instead of being the typical horny and out for love, he was designed to be a matchmaker seeking out people to help them find their soulmates. He secretly wants to find a soulmate for himself one day, but only after everyone else in the world has found their own. Oh, and his name is L073, or Love. I love this concept. Oscar the Goblin. Character build, swashbuckler rogue, samurai fighter build planned. Yes, a charismatic goblin that plans ahead. Stereotype. Goblins are murder balls of chaos. Even the heroes are more random than other player characters. They're not very intelligent and tend to be weak and silly early threats in most games. Oscar is working as a private investigator and is actually very intelligent with a stat of 15. He's also working on organizing a crime syndicate. So a very intelligent goblin who, using being a private investigator to gather dirt and resources for his criminal empire. There aren't many big bad evil guys that are goblins, but Oscar is making it his goal. Only level 2 and has a gang of 50+ members. He got the gang by killing the former leader after Oscar organized a gang raid of a wealthy house. I'm currently partial to my very first cleric who his party mate continually mistake for a paladin, simply because of how zealous I play him. Though he is an amnesiac, so he doesn't remember his religion's practices. So I improvise prayers. For example, his god is one of war and harvest, so a silent prayer I came up with on the spot was to stab his hand and cover himself with the blood, and walk the fields, allowing his blood to flow and to bless the crops, and other things such as that. Now he does have sangromancy ties, so all his BS he's sprouting is to look like he knows what he's doing, which is all very thematic and usually bloody. Aarakocra Artificer Artillerist. His name was Greg, and he was a bomber jet. We have a warlock who was of the fathomless patron, ended up with the Kraken as his adoptive mother, who checks in on him from time to time as he traverses the seas on his ship. Aw, kind of a disturbing little mother-son adventure, but hey-ho. A barbarian who's a hardcore strategist. Currently playing one. Intelligence is my lowest stat. I play it as he doesn't make good life decisions, but in the heat of battle and dungeons, he uses his surroundings to his advantage and supports his team with his rage. He puts himself between the low HP casters and large groups of enemies. And if someone gets knocked down, he gets them out of danger while tanking the hits, just in case one of the casters has an AoE that a downed teammate might get caught in. I also have one weapon of each non-elemental damage type, and a throwing weapon to compensate for enemy weaknesses, or if an enemy is too far to be able to keep up his rage. Another one I like to play is a good warlock with a good patron pact instead of it being some crazy evil cosmic horror or demon. My all-time favorite PC I played was one. His pact was a fellow elf that was cursed to become a sentient weapon that grew a bond with my character and wanted to help achieve his dream. As long as, in return, I spread his legend and make sure that he too went down in history as a hero. The Identity Thief Bard. Changeling Bard College of Whispers with the keen mind and actor feats, alongside invisibility and memory manipulation spells. They can use Actor to duplicate their target's voice, College of Whispers to steal their memories, Keen Mind to keep those memories, and the Changeling features to duplicate their appearance. You can perfectly steal someone's identity and live their life. I want to run this character as a chaotic good rival to spice up a horror campaign. Make players seemingly forget a day, but you can't really forget something that's never been experienced. This character would have Glyph of Warding to kill targets for the College of Whispers feature, then take Revivify with magical secrets to bring those targets back. This sounds like a clusterfuck in a big way, and I love it. I had a lawful evil monk-going assassin who dressed like a wizard. Blue robe with silver stars, well-maintained staff, wide-brimmed hat. He would grab the stars off his robe and then hurl them in a flurry, screaming, "Silver stars!" or holler, "Fist of stone!" before he cracked someone across the jaw. Max ranks in deception, so everyone thought he was a wizard and would react accordingly. And the look on the enemy's face when he would suddenly not go squish, or his magic wasn't dispelled or counterspelled, ooh, needless to say, it was fun. The first bard character I made, Melody, isn't a horny bard. She just wants to be in the spotlight. Her brother, who is a wizard, he is the horny one that will flirt with any pretty woman he sees like he's Brock from Pokemon. Ranger Barbarian, a skilled Goliath hunter, merchant, and smith from a destroyed clan. Rage is flavored less as unga bunga angry mode, and more an intense trance-like state of heightened focus. Her already limited communication, she understands common but doesn't speak it fluently, though she's gradually improved at it over the course of the campaign, becoming more limited, usually amounting to single words or phrases. Her major narrative flaw is being a loose end. Pretty much everywhere she goes and anyone that connects with her ultimately becomes a target by those seeking to erase her clan, and the misdeeds they did to it from history. She can't really linger in one place for too long without risking its annihilation, and any party members collectively have targets on their backs because of her. She also took a level in Bard, because whenever we had a bard in the party and they rolled to sing, she would join in to try and lighten the mood a bit and immediately upstage them. Like, we're talking a minimum of rolling performance 10 points higher than the bard. Rogue with a bit of ranger and maybe a little fighter, in that she can control members of a specific class of monster homebrewed and is apparently one of the main damage dealers of the party, despite being a literal 12-year-old. She's only doing this to save her mother and maybe help free a city from the tyrant she helped put in power. I once ran a game where the face of the party was the 7 intelligence, 8 wisdom orc barbarian. Me, son of a bitch! Oh my god! Me, son of a bitch! I'm dying! Oh my god, I can't breathe, that's so good! But he had a speech impediment. He had a charisma of 18, a weirdly high diplomacy, and a childlike innocence which won over tons of people's hearts. He even successfully influenced the borderline chaotic evil rogue to turn toward good by the end of the campaign. He was also a staunch pacifist and would only ever deal non-lethal damage, and ordered his party to likewise never kill. That was a fun campaign with a technical body count of 0. In the current campaign of mine, set in Bungie's Destiny universe, the tank of the group is the rough equivalent of a wizard, Sahuria the Voidwalker. Her AC reflex is the worst of the group. Landing a hit on her is comically easy, but she does have a ton of HP and uses lots of self-healing and life drain abilities to heal back up whatever damage is dealt to her throughout the turn, meaning the only way to knock her out in a fight is to one-shot her, and even then she can self-resurrect the following round, assuming her allies can cover her. Well, one of my best-known characters in my group is a loudmouth, crass, fight first, ask questions later, beat the tar out of people, stealthless, frontline combatant. He's not a barbarian, nor a fighter, nor a cleric, not a paladin, a monk, a ranger. Nah, this bastard is a rogue warlock. You see, in my groups, I am known for my whacklocks, that being frontliner warlocks. This one in particular was burst damage incarnate with a bit of hit and run mixed in. I played him in a heavily modified version of the Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign where we ended around level 12, I want to say. He was a level 5 warlock, hexblade patron, pact of the blade, level 7 swashbuckler rogue. The thing that really takes the cake though, he was a warlock without eldritch blast, and a rogue without stealth expertise. His whole deal was to separate an opponent from the pack so he could deal unholy amounts of damage with his eldritch smite, sneak attack, thirsting blade, and offhand attack, then dance around them with fancy footwork. For invocations, he had Armor of Shadows for at-will mage armor, since he utterly refused to wear any clothing on his upper body. Eldritch Smite for that sweet burst damage and knocking enemies prone, and Thirsting Blade for that good old extra attack. For feats, he had Dual Wielder, so that he could dual wield rapiers and add an extra +1 bonus to his AC with both weapons drawn. He also had Alert, meaning that he not only added his charisma modifier to his initiative because of rakish audacity, he added an extra +5 just for the hell of it. Now, if I remember correctly, his initiative bonus was +13 by the end of the campaign. So not only did this asshole strike hard, he would more often than not strike first. All of this culminated into this one bastard of a Shadar Kai warlock rogue named Keiths, the Defiant Sildarin. The story of how he picked a fight with an ancient dragon and lived because of his balls of steel ended up on this sub once and will forever be legendary in my party. We need to know this story because, hey, if you picked a fight with an ancient dragon and lived because of your balls of steel, we want to read it. Everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below what was your best creative, non-stereotypical character build that you've ever pulled out of your butt. We love you all. Please be safe, be happy, and we'll see you very soon.